Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to What's the Damage, the second one in a row because I have had a lot of stuff to complain about lately, I've just been getting really pissed with everything that's been happening around me, this and that, and today's topic is something that's actually very tender, actually no, not tender at all, very non-tender, something that I think everybody knows about, and it's time I address it on this channel because the Chaz man knows about, but anyway guys, so today I'm wearing a Boca Juniors sweater, in case you guys can't tell, if you can see it here. Now it's a little big for me because it was actually given to me by my neighbor. He just randomly said, hey, you want this jacket? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Jacket. I meant a sweater, He was just donating clothes and he gave it to me randomly, and because he's a little bit of a chubby fellow, it's a little big on me, but it's all good, I like to wear it over a nice long sleeve shirt. But anyway, so here's the thing. Why am I wearing this today? Well, the title might have already given that away. I'm going to be talking about South American soccer or football, but I'm going to put soccer in the title because if I say South American football, it's just going to confuse people, But anyway, so the thing is that I've been watching the Copa Libertadores with my father recently. Our team Fluminense is actually playing right now and we're actually doing pretty well. We have 8 points in our stage and we're probably very likely going to get to the next phase, Now, I have a lot of confidence in my team, for this edition of the Libertadores Cup, but it's been hard. Every time we've competed, it's been really, really difficult. And now the teams here in South America, there are a lot of really strong teams. We've got Boca Juniors, there's River Plate, there's Bolivar, I think, Independiente, there are quite a few teams, I always forget their names, but there are a few good ones. And the thing is that the Libertadores Cup has always been about trying to see who is the best in all of South America, So we're talking about teams from Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Colombia, all walks of life, around South America, competing to see who's going to be the best. And of course, the winner takes home the trophy and also goes on to play the FIFA Club World Cup later on against whoever wins the UEFA Champions League, or at least that's how it used to be, because now they completely messed it up. Now there's a bunch of different teams from different places, playing and this and that. It's just really freaking annoying. But anyway, so the point is that now what I'm going to be talking about today is why I think that the sport in this country, in this continent, is just being more and more tarnished by the players who are becoming more and more immature, Now, you might think back to players like Neymar. I do think that he actually is the one who might be the biggest responsible for this, but it's not just Neymar and Brazilians, it's actually all South Americans in general, because our soccer or football here is starting to become very annoying to watch, because lately it's all been about the players are more interested in falling and simulating fouls and trying to get a yellow card for the opposing rival than actually trying to complete a pass or score a goal or something, If a player is in the box and he has a chance to score a goal, he's going to prefer to, just drop possession of the ball and fall to the ground so he can try to get a foul or penalty, So this is something that's really annoying. It bothers me, it bothers my dad because we watch the games together. I'm pretty sure it bothers the vast majority of people who are actually fans of this sport around the world, It is really freaking annoying, man, because it's almost like you don't really want to play the sport. You're not really taking it seriously, You're just randomly doing whatever the hell you want. And here in Brazil it's worse, It is really, really bad over here, man, because it's like every single player prefers to try to pull a Ronaldinho and try to do a little dribble, and if he fails, if he loses the ball, then he falls over and wants to foul, and this happens so many times in matches that it's freaking ridiculous. And the referees, sometimes they actually believe them and they stop the play, Stopping the play for a simulated foul is one of the worst things that can happen in this sport, because it just completely freezes the game, and it gets really annoying to watch, especially when it's clearly not a foul, but they just keep trying and trying and trying, and everybody wants to be Neymar. Everybody is falling all over the place. That's why I said Neymar probably inspired this, because he is notorious for falling, I'm not sure he still does it today, but there were a few years there where he did it in pretty much every single match and got pretty much infamous for it, It seems like today there's just no more will, nobody wants to play. They want their team to win, yeah, and they want to I don't know, they just want to make money and try to dribble and do something fancy so they can look good in the photos, or in videos for YouTube. I don't know, man, because let's be honest, the better you are today as a player, the more you become a poster boy and less of an athlete, But there are exceptions, like Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They are essentially poster boys for their respective clubs, and their endorsement, their partners, but they still play ball ball and a lot, you know. Neymar is an example of a player who really could mature much more, you know, but I already talked about him in another video, but the thing is that I think that players like Neymar, they should really mature much more and try to take the game more seriously, you know, especially because he is South American and he does represent Brazil right now. But the other teams in South America, that's the next point that I want to get to. I think that South Americans don't know how to play ball too properly, you know, because there is no semblance at all of foul play anywhere on this continent. Nobody here does foul play. And I think that Hispanics here in South America in general are very brutal and violent. Like, they are sore losers. If you guys go on YouTube and look up, you know, fights in Libertadores or Sudamericana, you know, you're gonna see so many fights breaking out at the end of matches because the players just don't accept losing, you know. I mean, they lost. They didn't score, the other team did, and so they clearly lost very fairly, you know, fair and square. But then they want to pummel the other players and get into fights and kick them and shove them to the ground and punch them. It turns into a UFC brawl, you know, because they don't know how to lose. You know, there's like the South Americans are the biggest bunch of sore losers in any sport that I've ever seen, man. It's ridiculous, but of course it's much worse in soccer or football. You know, and during matches, you know, the fouls are always so brutal, so hard, you know, they have no regard for the other players, you know, there is no fair play at all. So if a South American team has the opportunity to pull off a fair play move, they are definitely not going to. Now, can this be generalized? Is every single South American team this way? Well, I don't know, but the vast majority of the ones that I have seen, or each one that I have seen, you know, this has happened. Like the games that I've seen against my team, for example, or other Brazilian teams, because there is a very, very strong rivalry between Brazil and every other South American country here in the continent, you know, and it's especially brutal between Argentina. So whenever there's a Brazilian team and an Argentinian team going against each other in the Libertadores, especially if it's like a semi-final or a final, pretty much any point in the knockout stage, you can be sure that there will be blood. There will, not literally, just philosophically, you know, but there will be a brawl, you know, at the end of the match, no matter who wins or loses, you know. Normally, if the Argentinian team wins, then they're okay, you know, they will rub it in the faces of the Brazilian team, but they're pretty much okay. But if they lose, that's when fights start to break out, you know, and it's really annoying, and it just completely tarnishes the image of the sport, man. You know, it's not fun to watch something like this. I mean, like, if I want to see this, I'm gonna go watch UFC or boxing or MMA or something. But anyway, more to the point, I think that, yeah, like in other places in the world, I mean, they are kind of following suit. There are a few places in Europe who plays football or soccer in a way that the Brazilians do, but usually it's because the Brazilians already there trying to influence it in their way, you know? Like in Europe, it probably wasn't too common to simulate fouls until Neymar went to play in Barcelona and then later in PSG, you know? But I think that in Europe, we can still preserve the sport today. Like if you go to a place like England, you know, I did a video some time ago discussing the Premier League and if it's the best league in the world. In my opinion, it is, and in that video I explained in detail why this and that. There's a lot of balance, and I think that right now the Premier League is the last representation that we have of soccer or football in the world today, you know, because it seems to be the one country in the world that still takes the sport seriously and plays it correctly, you know. I mean, there are a few scandals here and there are players who do behave, you know, improperly. There isn't always fair play. There are a few players who simulate fouls, you know, like Brazilians do, and there are a few players who want to pick a fight like maybe Roy Keane style, you know. It's not perfect, but it definitely is perfect compared to all of the other ones that I said, you know. So yeah, that's just the way it is, man. I honestly think that England is the best example today of, you know, soccer or football. And whenever a Brazilian player goes over there, usually they suffer a little bit to adapt to their style of play. And you can see that they actually, the frequency of them simulating fouls is actually much less because of this, you know. Like imagine if Neymar went to play for Manchester City or something, you know, or a really big other team, like maybe even Liverpool, you know, alongside his buddy Roberto Firmino. Like Neymar would suffer in the Premier League, man. Neymar would really suffer in the Premier League. But if he could hack it, he would definitely turn into a very, you know, hulking physique of a man in the sport, you know, in the field. Just like Cristiano, he used to be a show pony. He used to simulate fouls, you know. He was a little scrawny kid. But then as he played more and more for Manchester United, he started to work out and bulk up a bit, and he actually became a much better player. And then when he went to Real Madrid, he was pretty much a monster. Now, it took him a few years there in Spain to also become a little bit more mature as well, but the point is that he did it, you know, he made it. When he went to Juventus, he was a fully fledged professional adult athlete, you know. Neymar still has a long way to go, but I think he can get there. But I think that here in South America, where he started playing, like, the sport here is pretty much gone, man. You know, I mean, it's like, I mean, I still do watch it because I support the team, you know, Fluminense with my old man, so we do watch the games together. We're always going to watch the games together, but sometimes we're like, you know, why are we really watching? Like, sometimes our team is in such a bad phase that we don't really feel like watching the games, you know, but we still do because that's what this sport is about, you know. It's about you supporting your team, you know, until the day you die, you know, and that's where the love is, you know, despite the sport having changed so radically, you know. I mean, also there's the FIFA racism controversy, you know, so there's so many different things happening, but it's still good to watch, you know. It is still good to watch because within all of the bad moments, you can still find the spark of magic, you know, that made me fall in love with the sport, you know, in the first place a long time ago. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's vlog. You know, I just wanted to get my opinion out there about this, you know, and how frustrated I am that the sport that I love so much here in my own country is just, it's getting harder and harder to watch. And the lighting, you guys might notice that the lighting kind of sucks now because the sun went behind a cloud there. I got my lights on though. Maybe I can fix it in post later. But anyway, I just think that, you know, going back to the days of when this sport, like, because a long time ago, you made very little money playing soccer or football, you know? So, I mean, the players really played it because they wanted to, because they loved it, you know? They would make just about as much of a minimum wage as a restaurant attendant did, you know? So they really played for love, you know? They really poured their blood, sweat, and tears into the sport, you know? And today it's all about the money, the paid partnerships, the endorsements, you know, the social media handles, the following. So, you know, but there are still players who are very exceptional, you know, and they take, and some of them don't even have social networks, you know, they just want to focus on playing the game and making their money, you know. There's nothing wrong with that specifically, but when you play the game and you show that there's a passion for it, then to me, you know, you deserve a place in a place in my book. But anyway, so that's it. Oh, sorry, my phone almost fell here. Got my timer here. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day, not just about sports, you know, but every kind of thing you guys can imagine, gameplays and stuff, you know, reviews of movies and TV shows, games and whatnot. And I release videos every single day, sometimes one, sometimes two, you never know. And I never tell anyone what time I'm gonna release them, so you have to hit the notification bell to know exactly when they're gonna be coming out, okay? So until then, thanks for sticking around. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.